The Chaplain finally received their missing equipment, this being the Nullrod. Nullrods are anti-magic artifacts that help combat magical antagonists. All Nullrods do holy damage, a type of damage that cannot be resisted, but it's only effective on black magic users. When used in these targets, like for example, this devil, the basic Nullrod does the same damage as a truncheon, except half of it's holy AP damage. People that sold their souls will also take holy damage. Wizards use normal magic, therefore they don't take holy damage. Of course, both heretics and cultists take holy damage. The normal Nullrod is fine and all, but we can get different variants by placing it on different altars. You can craft altars on the G menu using some cloth and steel. Once the altar is made, you can convert it by placing specific items on them. To make a fanged altar, you need meat. To make a druid altar, you need a wooden plank. To make a nanotrasin altar, you need 1 plasteel. To make a chaos altar, you need 1 plasma. To make a Christian altar, you need 1 nun hood. Toolbox altar requires a toolbox. For heaven altar, you need a crusader helm. Technology is a single capacitor. For Main's altar, you need budget insulated gloves. And finally 1 bananium for bananium altar. Placing a basic Nullrod in any of these altars will transform it into a different Nullrod. In this case, it's the Grey Emperor's glove. Now, the glove is one of those Nullrods that stick to your hand and cannot be dropped. This one also works as an Omnitool. It also gives insulation, so feel free to embrace your inner tighter. Because it's stuck on your hand, you won't drop it if you slip. The only way to remove it is by cutting off the hand. As for damage, the glove is quite decent, so long as you're using it against evil magic people, of course. Otherwise, is worse than a toolbox. The glove will push people away with every hit, however it cannot wide swing. This effect is not limited to magic people. Using a technology altar will transform the Nullrod into a holster with 2 pistols. The pistols in question are Castle and Jackal, a direct reference to Helsing Ultimate. And just like the dualettas, they must be dual-wielded in order to shoot them. Of course, the pistols can be set to full auto. Now, if you actually land all shots, the person might enter critical for a brief period, but the holy damage will heal and they will get back. So you almost always need 2 volleys. In order to recharge, you must pray to each pistol. After the do-after is done, they will have full magazine again. Even on a normal person, the mag dump can be quite nasty, but it won't do nearly as much damage. There is no need to explain why these are one of the most popular ones. If you use a heaven altar, it will create a holy claymore. The damage on this is a bit less than the Grey Emperor glove. If you don't wield it, you can wide swing with it. By wielding it will work similar to the old Crusher. Hit someone with the projectile and hit the marked person for extra damage and a bit of lifesteal. Place a Nullrod on a toolbox altar and now you have his holy chainsaw. The description is another direct reference to Helsing, but this time to the parody version, Helsing Ultimate, abridged by Team 4-Star. The chainsaw itself might be a reference to Army of Darkness because it also sticks to your hand. Now, the damage might not seem much at first glance, but this is a chainsaw. To use it, you must wield it, else you will slip. Even for non-evil magic users, the damage is decent. For actual evil people, they die in seconds. Another perk of the chainsaw is that it has structural damage, which allows you to destroy obstacles and walls. Reinforced walls are still tough to chew through, but it can still be done. Also, this one can actually wide swing. It might be one of the best melee Nullrods. The Rosary is not an offensive Nullrod. It actually does less damage than the basic one. Instead, it will speed you up a little. And if you pray to it, it will perform an area of effect healing that heals about 12 damage every time it triggers. Insanely useful to help medical. However, it can't heal wounds or certain types of damage. The Hand of God is another Nullrod that sticks to your hand. The damage is similar to the glove, except that it applies a minor fire stack and does heat damage. Just like the Changeling Claw, it hard grabs people you hit, allowing you to throw them instantly. This, of course, allows you to chain stun people by throwing them repeatedly. Using a Nullrod on a Nanotrazen altar will transform it into the Atheist Fedora. Of course, you can wear the fedora. The melee DPS is similar to a combat knife, but this Nullrod is meant to be thrown. When thrown, it will come back just like the Mjolnir does, doing 22-ish damage whenever it hits. Because it is a thrown weapon, it actually has infinite pierce, meaning it can hit several people in a row and hit them another time when it comes back. Don't sleep on this, it can be quite robust for massive cultist mobs. The Honk Mother's Maw has similar damage to Claymore, but it attacks a bit faster. The quirk of this Nullrod is that it very briefly knocks people down with a cooldown, just like a wizard weapon. This knockdown won't make the opponent drop what they have in their hands. The Monk Staff appears to work as a shield, but I could not confirm that it does. After attacking, the damage remains the same. A raised shield is supposed to block all damage, and a shield in hand blocks 50%. This one description says that it blocks 30%, but I did not see any damage reduction. Now for damage, it is quite low, but the staff does stamina damage, meaning you can stamina crit opponents with it. Because of the holy AP damage, managing to stun someone probably secures a kill, since their armor won't protect against the barrage of blows. Placing a Nullrod on a fanged altar will transform it into the arithmetic knife. As long as you hold it in your hand, it will speed you up and slow you down randomly. It's also a massive item, so storing it is hard. The DPS is Captain Saber levels. Personally, I don't like this one. It's too inconsistent. Important note about holy damage. Some armors or magical trinkets increase the holy damage taken. So this heretic with medallion and ominous armor is taking 50% more holy damage. Surprisingly, cultists and devils do not appear to have this weakness yet. It will probably be fixed at some point. Nullrods protect against magic as long as you hold them on your hand. But not all magics are coded to be countered yet. And for some, like the Devil's Grip, you don't need a Nullrod as Chaplain. The Mantis Grasp will stun you if you're not holding your Nullrod, so they can still jump you. This is where your protection ends as now though. Most heretic magic still applies, except for some very niche cases. Most cultist spells are negated by the Nullrod. Be wary not to accidentally out yourself. Interestingly, whiffing will not reset the spell cooldown unlike the other magical antags. Still, most offensive magic is negated, except for Astral Nova. The Chaplain also appears to be immune to cult gear, which means you can use their loot. Normal people will take immense damage if they wear or hold cult gear. And now for the Wizard. Most spells will be negated or outright reflected by the Nullrod, except for some extremely niche cases. Consider acquiring one of those to negate the Chaplain anti-magic.
Energy low.
Magical equipment seems to mostly still work, but not all of it. One mishap and you may robust yourself. The Staff of Slipping can easily disarm a Chaplain, but remember, some Nullrods can't be disarmed. That's all for now. See you next time, preferably sooner.